This is another awful video. Unfortunately, a Lyft driver, yet another Lyft driver, has lost their life while on the job. We often talk about the importance of keeping your defensive tools on you and not engaging in activity that gives you a higher statistical probability of a bad outcome. Unfortunately, in this case, none of that applies, yet we still have a driver that lost his life.
Fort Worth police are looking for the person who shot and killed a rideshare driver in the middle of the day. The 31-year-old father started work Friday morning. Hours later, he was found dead at a Fort Worth apartment complex. His vehicle later found abandoned. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with the man's family, who says he was in North Texas to escape violence in his home country of Afghanistan. Peyton.
Steve, the victim's family tells me that he never came home on Friday, so they immediately called Fort Worth police and the nearby hospitals. After learning that his vehicle had been found at an impound lot later that day on Friday, that's when police told them that the 31-year-old father had been shot and killed on the job. Monday afternoon, crime scene tape outside an East Fort Worth apartment complex marks the spot where a Lyft driver was murdered in broad daylight. That driver, identified as 31-year-old Shawali Sherali, a husband and father of two, with a third child on the way. Sherali's older brother spoke to Fox 4 Monday using a translator.
He's taking care of the family just because of their safety. He cannot leave them.
Sherali's family tells Fox 4 Sherali left his Fort Worth home at 8 a.m. on Friday and never came home. Just after 11:30 a.m., Fort Worth police were called to the complex near Sandy Lane and Brentwood Stair Road and found Sherali shot to death outside. Witnesses told police Sherali had been in a vehicle that crashed into a fence, but someone else then jumped in the driver's seat and took off. Sherali was left with a fatal gunshot wound in the torso. Sherali's family met with a Fort Worth detective on Monday who told them the person of interest was a rideshare customer who called a ride shortly before the murder.
Of course, the car has no price for human life, so they just took his life because of his car. Always he was working hard, tried to earn something for his family.
Fort Worth police found Sherali's vehicle abandoned a short distance from where he was killed. Police haven't released a motive, but Norali Noor says his younger brother's cell phone and wallet were not stolen. The two brothers and their families moved to North Texas from Afghanistan in late 2021 when the capital city was captured by the Taliban.
It was really bad, so we were looking for a better life. That's why we came here. We moved here for a better life for ourselves, for our family, for kids, everyone, but we did not know that we were going to face something like this.
Steve, Sherali's family tells me he did have a dash camera inside of his vehicle. Fort Worth police told the family they are reviewing it right now. Fort Worth police also say they're only looking for one person, but again, no arrests have been made.
31-year-old father of two, another child on the way that will never meet his father. At 31 years of age, murdered in broad daylight. We often talk about the statistical probability of a bad outcome when driving after hours. We don't advise driving in the wee hours of the morning. Certain neighborhoods should be avoided. Fort Worth, Texas, I can't speak on it. I used to live in Dallas. I don't know a lot about Fort Worth, but it's a big city. And big cities inherently have problems. Nevertheless, this one is just awful. This individual fled the Taliban. Apparently, you hear the newscaster suggesting that the Taliban took over their capital city back in 2021, started oppressing people, and this person came to the United States where they now have unfortunately been murdered. Now, just real quick, Taliban 2021. We left that area after being there for over a decade. And within a year or two, now I know Trump was negotiating with the Taliban to hand Afghanistan back to them. Obviously, they went right back to their old-fashioned ways of oppressing folks. But in regards to this driver, You hear them suggest that his vehicle was seen crashing into a fence. Somebody actually went up to the vehicle, yanked his lifeless body out of the vehicle, and drove off with it. So it's pretty clear the goal from the moment they did this was to carjack his vehicle. They didn't even take his own personal possessions like his wallet and things like that. They simply wanted the car, which is what we talked about in the beginning of the video. We make good victims because you can literally order a victim to show up wherever you are. You may be in an alley. You may be at the side of a riverbank somewhere. You may be in a perfect environment to commit a crime, and all you got to do is go on the app and you can have a victim show up to that location. Hopefully there is some data trail that does help give the families justice in some of these cases, but not all of them, folks, not all of them. We cover a lot of drivers losing their lives, and this one here is downright disturbing for such a young man to be murdered in broad daylight. Wow. Now, at the end, before we wrap the video up, dash cams, we've talked about them before. In addition to your defensive tools, a dash cam may be the only thing that gives your family some justice. The people you leave behind, a dash cam may be instrumental in giving them some justice. We talked about the female driver in Pennsylvania where a passenger actually put a gun to her head, a mother of four. She was begging for her life. He murdered her anyway. She had a dash cam. He took the dash cam out of the window. A lot of times they will snatch the evidence, what they think is the evidence. He actually took her dash cam, but fortunately for her family, he threw it in a ditch and the police were able to locate it. And on the dash cam footage was her pleading for her life with a passenger behind her with a gun to her head. Like I said, he did murder her, and she was a mother of four. So having a dash cam is important. If you can hide a dash cam where your passengers can't see it, I'd highly advise that as well. I mean, having more than one camera in the car might be a good idea, but at the end of the day, this situation here sounds like it may have been something where the driver had no way to defend himself. There was simply nothing he could do. Shot in the chest, crashed into a fence or something like that. The person actually walked up, took him out of the car and drove off with the car. This is cold-blooded murder, folks. This is what you deal with. This is what we're dealing with as rideshare drivers. So, as always, keep your head on the swivel. Certainly stay armed. Pay attention to what the hell's going on and Uber on. As always, feel free to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Stay safe. See you in the next video.